everyone, and welcome back to another video of mine. This time I'm back with Song of the Crimson Nile Season 3, Episode 4. It's been a while since I've played this story. I wanted to put more value onto Heaven's Secret Requiem because of my man Cain and Astrea's broken heart because of multiple men, but since I was capable to catch up with the update in Heaven's Secret, in Astrea's broken heart, I was like, why not continue with Song of the Crimson Nile? My man Eamon is in this, my bestie Livius. So I was like, why not continue? As we all probably know, I have no idea what happened last episode. I think we're still in the realm of the dead, but we will see. The first hall of the duat has been opened, and the time has come for the second payment. Oh shit. Episode 4, Broken Soul. Oh shit. Oh, great. Suicide and sexual assault. Like, you innocent bitches, be prepared. Agnia's test, the house of Hitarea. I'm sorry. It's been 2 episodes, if I remember correctly. I feel like it's been ages. She's still trapped in that vision? First, her father wanting to sell her, even though he knows that she don't like men like that. And then she actually had faith and trusted a nice guy who then ended up to want to screw her over more than the father. God damn. It had been a few months since Paramon of Attica had sold his daughter to a small house of Hatereas on the outskirts of Athene. Nile. She had nowhere to go and was left with no choice but to accept her role as a woman, which meant silently adapting to her circumstances, or rather obediently, because in Agnia's case, silence was out of the question. Well, shit. Okay. What? What did you tell him? The madam frowned angrily, her hands resting defiantly on her hips, her beautiful young face wrinkled in anger. Agnia scoffed and thought to herself, you'd never catch Alina wearing such an expression when she was attending to the clients, always welcoming them with a warm smile. She's so fake. The second that the patients leave, or more in this case, the clients leave, she immediately is getting out the real claws, like she's fake. The woman of the house, however, never saw that smile, except on rare occasions when Alina managed to negotiate a profitable deal and find a good patron for one of them. What did I say? Money. Money rules the world. Can I just say, Agnia with short hair is sexy. Agnia with long hair is gorgeous. I just feel the need to highlight, like, there are a lot of people that slay both hairstyles, short and long hair. I prefer my hair to be longer because I don't think I look great with short hair. I had it short multiple times, but I just don't feel comfortable in it. I feel exposed. But there are people that slay both, and there are people that only slay short hair or long hair. What? What did they expect? Showing his brick without asking first, that I would fawn over it? Well, he certainly didn't expect the well-mannered and cultured Hatera he'd generously paid to call his manhood lame and pathetic. Bitch, she's in for the women. What you want? Agnia couldn't help but chuckle. His manhood. Street drunks have more manliness than that Kyrios. Woohoo! Oh, she's gorgeous. Don't be angry, Elena. I promise I'll talk to her. Forgive her. Elena scoffed and almost jumped on the spot with indignation. Forgive her. She should ask poor Articus for forgiveness if he ever comes back here again after what happened. Make it very clear to her, Gaia, or I'll punish you both. Do you think I'm just being mean for no reason? Every hatera needs a wealthy and decent man, but first you need to find him. Talking to her clients and that tone, you won't only end up alone, but also tarnish the reputation of all the other women in this house. Alina didn't linger. Adjusting the long hem of her thin dress, she turned around proudly and went on about her business. What does that show us? Only because you look beautiful on the outside doesn't mean that you're a bitch ass on the inside. From one side, I understand Alina, but the difference between her and Agnia is that Agnia didn't ask for this. Like, she was forcefully sold by her father. I don't remember why, and in my eyes, there is no excuse to sell your own child in order to have money or technically ruining their lives. So, since I'm impulsive and Agnia shares that with me, just because you sold me to a place that gives pleasure to men doesn't necessarily mean that I have to play along. Like, this wasn't my choice, and I'm gonna make sure damn well that you know that it wasn't my choice. Left alone with Gaia, her mentor, Agnia's side, and honestly confessed, "This choice will affect the course of the test." She swears loudly, but she can't get to me. I don't care about the other women or clients. Truth be told, I would care about the other women, but not about the clients. Because this is you giving pleasure out to men. Like, I didn't ask for this, so no thank you. But I would feel bad for the other women. Like, there are women that like this type of job. And I'm not talking down on it nor anything, but everyone has their own taste. If I don't feel comfortable with the shop, or if I don't like it and it has been forced onto me, then I will never ever be capable to show my best side. So I would just say, she can get to me. I don't care what she says. Let the clients complain about me all at once, and let Elena scream herself source. Ooh, I can smile and be nice when a man pulls out his flaccid manhood instead of the promised conversation with the arguments. Ooh, ooh. Agnia! I'm sorry, I'm living miraculously through her. Fuck Alina. Gaia sighed heavily. When her father and Filad had dragged Agnia there heartlessly. What did I say so I did remember correctly? Abandoning her, Alina had instructed her to take care of the new arrival, to help her adapt, to show her around the house, to teach the art of being desirable and interesting. That's why she's capable to mercifully kill you too. Coming from a wealthy family, Agnia knew how to conduct herself, but Hetaria had secrets known only to them. Those were small and subtle tricks that allowed them to capture a man's attention, to draw his gaze without even undressing. Experienced and skillful, Hatreas had become the constant companions of the most influential people in the country, and over time, their word carried more weight than the one of any other women, and sometimes even most men. Oh, really now? Seductive, smart, graceful, but inside they were cunning and ambitious, and few people were able to resist such qualities. That's the Agnia we know today. Agnia had learned a lot during her time there and gradually had become close with Gaia. There was only one flaw in the newly fledged Hatera, a temper that was difficult to tame. It manifested every time a man allowed himself too much. Gods alone knew what Agnia could have achieved that she allowed someone to use her body. Remember, our clients will always be a priority. All those you've been rude to aren't very important people. If this happens again with someone richer, Elena will severely punish you. If you're rude, you'll get flogged. Flogged? What the fuck is that? If you refuse to spend time alone with a man, you'll get flogged. If you insult a high-ranking person, I shudder to think what they'll do to you. I'm sorry. Did Alina buy us? We were brought here forcefully by our father? and Filat, or whatever his name was, can't we just, like, leave? Just, like, get out? What is our father gonna do? He already left us there to rot. As if he's gonna spend his entire days then to find us in order to bring us back there. Gaia looked away sadly. Her huge pale eyes, full of so many different emotions, glistened. Oh, girl. I know what I'm talking about. I've seen something like this and I've been through it myself. Yeah, she's been whipped into shape. That's the worst thing. Look at her, she's not saying shit. She's so pissed. Agnia stared at Gaia with genuine interest, admiring her features. Gaia had become a pillar of strength for her during that difficult period of her time. A ray of sunshine in the dark, rich room shrouded in sensual crimson light, filled with the scent of oriental incense and the sound of women's laughter. The room that had replaced her spacious family home, as if she could ever call that home that she had with her father. That man always smacking her around and then even selling her. I would be glad to be out of that bitch's side. I really like her. Something inside me responds to her every smell and touch. Oh, that's when she had her gay awakening? I mean, I don't know. We never really got into that part, and I don't know if I've ever made that clear enough, especially when it comes to, like, sexuality and everything. I do a lot of reactions on my channel and everything. Like, I want to make everyone in my channel feel welcome. That's why when the sexuality is becoming a very important topic, I don't get too much into it, because in my eyes, your sexuality doesn't define you. You remain still the person you are. It's just that you aren't attracted to men or you aren't attracted to women. In my eyes, it don't make a difference. Like, or you're into both. I just don't want to put too much importance onto the sexuality thing. But I am questioning a lot of things here, and there are a lot of new stories that I had tried where I was like, oh, come on, let me go bisexual. I want to bring this in here for everyone, so that everyone feels welcome, so that everyone feels acknowledged, like, I see you. And I feel like, let's be honest, society needs to get the fucking grip. Like, we're not in dinosaur land no more. Like, if you can't accept it, then get out of the kitchen. Like, I'm not gonna fake for your sake. I've never felt anything like this before, never with anyone. Can we blame her, though, for having a crush? Have we looked at her? She's gorgeous. She's so beautiful. Although you diligently studied the art of entertaining men, you still haven't let anyone close and you're constantly complaining. Renown? Make no mistake, Elena's patience is not a sign of her being lenient with you. She's just looking for a bigger patron to benefit more. Of course, I've been through it all, including the punishment. All this time, Agnia wasn't afraid to protest and defend her boundary spirits. What were you punished for? I can't imagine you being rude to anyone. I haven't heard a single harsh word coming from you, and not once have you raised your voice. Well, girl, you don't know how long she's been here. It was different. What was it, girl? Gaia gently lowered herself onto one of the cushions on the floor, and Agnia followed her example. You know I'm not from here. Agnia almost laughed, looking at Gaia's fair hair and pale skin. No kidding. And you know what, I was brought here against my will from a distant land. Just like her. Agnia remembered the small scars in Gaia's body she had first seen in the shared bathhouse and stopped smiling. Gaia had said back then, this is what my path looks like, the one that led me here. And now, my gentle nature didn't allow me to resist my circumstances as fiercely as you do. I studied obediently, received clients, attended various feasts, entertained men, but I never experienced real intimacy. Soon a very wealthy man came here and he liked me because I stood out from the others. He paid a lot to have me as his companion, but when it came to the main part, I resisted for the first time. It's hard for me to put myself in the hands of someone I don't know at all. He scolded Elena, not me, but she explained to me what he was unhappy about very succinctly. That's how I got a few more scars. They are not visible. Elena knows how to punish without ruining a woman's beauty. Wow. And I'm supposed to be grateful for that? Why does she allow herself to do such things? Because she thinks she's the boss, bitch. That's how things work. Gaia shrugged, touching the gold necklace around her slender neck. Don't judge her. She went through a lot around this house, and despite everything, later I found another patron who I was able to trust. It was he who gave me this. He said that if something were to happen to him and I wanted to leave this place, I could sell the jewelry for a good price. Wow. A man took care of you like that? Of course, seeing that even her father was such a piece of shit, of course she would be like, excuse me? No, y'all. The story between her relationship and Eamon then speaks extremely to me now. Maybe we will get into that as well. Because if she was never capable to actually trust a man, Gaia smiled sheepishly, looking away. Agnia took a closer look at her. When they love you, they act in ways remarkably different from their usual selves. That's why it's so precious to me. It's a symbol of my freedom. Did her patron fall in love with her? She doesn't seem unhappy. That thought caused a pang of pain in her chest and Agnia curled her lips. I hope it's real cult. Men like to embellish everything they say. Maybe it's not even worth a single coin. Stupid, why are you hurting her? You can see the necklace is valuable to her, but the tongue moves faster than the mind and only listens to the heart. I don't understand why I'm so angry. Oh, that's the first time she discovered that she liked women. Oh no. The image of a man hugging Gaia and loving her in every possible way, bringing her immense pleasure, stirred the darkest feelings within Agnia. Jealousy. She wanted to rip the necklace off Gaia's neck and trample it to prove that it was really worthless. Bitch! Gaia has shared her secret. Agnia is aware of her feelings toward her. This will affect the plot. Wow. And that's interesting. You don't understand, knowing how hard it is for me to trust new people. He promised that he would be my first and last patron. We've been together for years. This necklace symbolizes faith in me and my ability to leave whenever I want. It used to seem impossible to me, but now I know I can do it. It's not about the price of the gift. It is a piece of freedom which will always be with me, the realization of my strength which my patron instilled in me. I mean, technically he could have given her back. He actually gave her something that she could use in order to leave him and his dirty fantasies for good. Wow. It's priceless, for it is our attitude and memories that give things their true value. Gaia spoke so tenderly and reverently about her patron and his gift that Agnia felt embarrassed. It truly was a wonderful gift. She even began to respect that man, despite the annoyance he caused her. If he's been keeping Gaia by his side for years, why doesn't he buy her a house? Why does she still live here with other young hateras? Patrons provide for their beloved women and try to give them the best of everything. Even if they don't love them, it's a matter of status. In my circles, it's simply unseemly to be involved with an inexperienced woman who still lives in a house of a terrace. Even I know that. So what's the problem? Elena won't let her go. Or can't they agree on a price? As luck would have it, Elena's stern voice interrupted their private conversation. What now? We have clients, we have warriors and well-off. The first one is here to see you, Gaia. Be nice to him, even though you have a patron. Maybe he'll like it here and find someone else for himself. Agnia, get up. You'll be entertaining his companion. We can't have a man sitting here idle. Then let him get out of here. For free? I'm sick and tired. Not for free. I mean, she is a bounty hunter. At this point, Bitch, you have to suck it up. I have no choice. What's the point of resisting if they'll make me do it anyway? I've been through this already. That door over there, the third meeting room. Agnia nodded. Elena called Gaia over to take her to her client. Agnia took a deep breath, trying to look calm and friendly, and headed for the third door. A man was already waiting for her in the room. I don't like this. It looks beautiful. His strong fingers clutched a brass goblet filled with wine. His thin lips, hidden by a thick dark beard, touched its edge. The man was clearly enjoying the tart taste. All right? Kiras, welcome to our house. Agnia bowed her head and swayed her hips slightly, walking on so that the client could get a better look at her. She hated that place as much as she hated being all sweetness and smiles. Girl, to fake it till you make it. But sometimes Elena eavesdropped on meetings and kept an eye on Agnia, so she had to behave properly. Another problem could be costly, as Gaia had said. Don't call me Kiros. I'm just a mercenary. My name is Aristos. Mercenary! Did he help her get out of here? Call me Agnia, Master. Agnia. She sat down next to him, keeping her back straight. Her long curls draped over her shoulders and small, firm breasts, emphasizing her delicate body. Her jewelry sparkled in the light, and her dark, arresting cat-like eyes studied the man curiously. "Do you, mistress? I don't need company. Please don't take offense. But I'm just waiting for my companion. I'm not looking for entertainment." Ooh, I can make your wait more pleasant. You brought me joy rather than cause any offense. Then you should tell her about it yourself. I have no masters here. At this point, you brought me joy rather than any offense. Thank you for not wanting me to do a lap dance. It gave me free time. Wish I'd spent doing something more interesting. When I saw the sincere smile on Ignia's face, he also grinned. I is to see real emotions in Atera. Now I like you a bit more, but I won't keep you away. Go do whatever it was you wanted to do. Wow. Real emotions? Does he think he can see right through me? His words hurt Agnia's pride. Girl, he meant that you're not cold as stone. I mean, but she is vulnerable, so of course I get it. I used to be capable to be offended / hurt that easily as well, so who am I to judge? I used to feel the exact same way. I was such a ball of mess. I'm just gonna consider it as such, because I felt so vulnerable all the damn time, always on edge, and no matter what someone said, I always took it personally, and I thought that I did a mistake when all they did was either warn me or trying to teach me, because I am young. Like, of course I'm gonna make mistakes, but no matter what it was, I always kept offense, and then I felt offended and I started yelling at everyone. Oh god, the old times. Only she had the right not to want to be there. How dare a man send her away? Was she that bad at pretending? No, you just don't want a lap dance, bitch. Agnia's infamous temper, which would later become one of the distinctive traits of her character and would be remembered by many with a shudder, had long begun to awaken during her years of powerlessness. Even though she appeared weak and helpless at first glance, she began to be less and less afraid and gradually changed. Sometimes she actively protested, resisted, but didn't fully realize the extent of her strength. And so, stung by Eratus' words, she snorted and lifted her chin. I'll stay, because I genuinely want to have a conversation with you. Genuinely? Yes, you're a warrior, aren't you? You've probably traveled a lot. Agnia just thinks her way due to her steadfastness during the test. I wish I had even a drop of the freedom you possess. Agnia sighed wearily, and instead of the usual beautiful woman trained to do everything to attract and please the male gaze, Erastus saw the real her. He didn't chase her away, charmed by her curiosity, and leaned back, saying thoughtfully, I've been to a lot of places, even worked for people who had gone through more than one military campaign with Alexander the Great himself. A woman suddenly started crying in one of the rooms. Tears were not uncommon, but they were usually shed in private. Agnia didn't even pay attention to that, exclaiming in surprise, Really? Have you met him? Erastus began to describe his wanderings, and Agnia nodded with surprise that he wasn't like other men she had met. He was far more interesting in foreign lands, money, battles, and adventures than women's hips and fake laughter. Period. He said, I'm done with this fake-ass superficial bullshit. He told her a lot of amazing stories, how he and his partner took a commission from the jealous wife of a nomarch to deal with a mysterious lover with whom he apparently spent days and nights on end. And once they investigated, they found him in bed with his wife's brother. Well, how in a distant land, after taking a skilled young man into their team, they had to grab their things in the middle of the night and flee because the local guards had been sent after him. It was only later that Eratus and his friends found out that the young man was the runaway local prince. Listening to all of that, Agnia burst out laughing and opened her mouth in awe at how thrilling those stories were. Noticing how sad her eyes had grown, Eratus asked quietly, Did I upset you somehow? Agnia woke from her stupor. She shook her head. What's the matter then? Would you prefer such wanderings to a peaceful life among educated men and women? She wasn't sure if she could answer honestly, but if Elena had been eavesdropping on them, she would have interrupted such a conversation much earlier, which meant, put yourself in my place and imagine that you're trapped within these walls. I feel like a wild tiger in a cage in front of a screaming crowd. Yeah. I see them looking at me, clasping their hands, but they don't really care if I feel bad or good. As long as I'm entertaining them, everything is all right. Eratus pursed his lips. Suddenly the door opened. They were disturbed before their meeting could end. Eratus, are you here? Oh, you're sitting with the Hatera. Huh? Agnia turned around when she heard a familiar voice. He used to say they didn't need... Does she know the man? It was as if time had stopped. The air seemed to have thickened and become vicious, and Agnia couldn't even breathe or move. Lazarus? Not the brother! She has a brother! Brother? Agnia. Now you see what your bitch's father did? Erastus, don't give me those eyes. You're missing sister, what the fuck? Yeah, missing sister, right? No, the sister that your bitch-ass father sold. Missing? Oh my god. What are you doing? Yeah, we need to get together. What are you doing here? Lazarus rushed up to Agnia, studying her with a confused and fearful gaze. He didn't even dare to touch her right away. For some reason, he was afraid to do it after all that time. Agnia, how did you end up here? How didn't our father tell you? Father, you said you ran away. We've been looking for you. Right. What did I say? He's such a piece of shit. Because he knew that the brother wouldn't stand for that bullshit. Finally, Lazarus touched Agnia's skin with trembling hands. Carefully at first and more boldly, he put his rough palms on her shoulders, unable to believe his eyes. Ran away? Mate, that's a lie. Agnia's fingers were trembling too, and she awkwardly pointed down to the hem of her dress. Amidst the endless strange faces, amidst the tangle of strange scents and bodies, someone familiar had appeared after all that time, suddenly, unexpectedly, but it was there. It's all he's doing, Lazarus. It was only when Agnia saw her older brother that she realized how scared and lost she had been and how much she had missed him, thinking that they would never meet again. Sobbing silently, biting her lips in despair and pain until they bled, Agnia squeezed the fabric of her dress and pulled it up. As she bare her thigh, showing the wound which had healed a long time earlier but still ached. It would always ache. She felt a gurgling, swelling bubble of hurt and rage struggling to break free, but forced to remain locked deep within her heart. A stranger to the family, a stranger to her father, a stranger to her brother. From that point on, she was a stranger to everyone. The brand with which harlots, traitors, and murderers were banished from their families, Agnia was one of them. But she hadn't killed, seduced, or betrayed anyone. She had just dared to hope that she deserved happiness and freedom, and she had been severely punished for wanting that. Lazarus couldn't come to terms with what he was seeing. His missing sister, whom his father mentioned sometimes, had been sold to a house of fateres. She hadn't disappeared, nor had she run away with anyone, and all that time Paramon had been lying without battering an eye. In my eyes, it's the audacity that he had to lie to the brother as well. If he didn't think that he did anything wrong, why couldn't he tell the brother that he sold her? Her brother whispered hurriedly, "I can't believe it. You've been here all this time." "I have. Oh no, Agnia." Everything that happened in that room suddenly made sense to Erastus. The timid young hetera, with a forced smile and profound sadness reflected in her eyes, turned out to be his friend's missing sister. "Will you get her out of here? Leave the room. We need to talk." Can he get her out of here?" Erastus left them without hesitation. Left alone, Agnia and Lazarus sat down heavily on the floor. They stared at each other, afraid to close their eyes for even a second, and opened them lying in their beds and realized with horror that the long-awaited meeting had turned out to be just a dream. "Great Zeus, what has become of you? Tell me all about this from the beginning." My heart. Meanwhile, in the place of Anubis, Eva settled down on the bed, waiting for Livius. Everyone had managed to get some sleep, but sleeping in a duat wasn't what they were used to. When they fell asleep, their essence usually became closer to the afterlife, wandering freely and approaching the border of the worlds. But since they were already there, it felt strange. Their bodies relaxed, falling into a kind of trance, but they remained conscious, as if it were a matter of habit rather than necessity, in order to somehow separate one day from another, as there was no change between day and night there. I mean, technically, it's all up to our bestie in the real world. If we want to go back or not, it don't really matter. If he puts that thing into our mouth, like that elixir that he brewed, we will wake up in the other world, no matter what we do. She had agreed to meet with Livius in her room to talk, but Eva had enough time to freshen up. Right. I'm sorry. In my eyes, I can't with the fact that Agnia is struggling and we're playing dress up. Respectfully. Renown. Time passed, but there was still no sign of Livius. Eva was worried, so she got up to find him. The last time someone disappeared, and it was Agnia, the first test had begun. These sudden disappearances don't bode well. Orion raised his head in puzzlement when he noticed that Eva was leaving. "Orion! What are you looking at? Come with me if you want." The dog didn't think for long and got up from his bed to follow her. I love Orion. I remember it was just like yesterday when we first had to decide whether it's a dog or a cat. Since Eva had realized that the dog was given to her for a reason, she had started feeling much calmer in his presence. No, that dog is a menace. Eva found herself in the hallway. Out of habit, she glanced at the door of his room. She suddenly wanted to go in, see what he was up to, but Eva stopped herself. Later, I shouldn't hover around him constantly. Right, because he doesn't want it. Their recent conversation brought her relief. Of course, at first she was angry and afraid. She had never seen his cold, bright eyes flash so angrily. For a moment, she even believed he might hit her. But Eamon had promised her that he wouldn't harm her. Even though he was filled with rage instead of Eva, he took it out on the poor bench. But later, Eva got it from him after all. An invisible god, she wished she would get it more often. A girl you finally gave it your all. You're finally no longer a virgin. I don't know how to describe what happened between us. Fate? All our incredible feelings suddenly crumbled over us, enveloping us and pushing us into each other's arms. We did what our hearts told us, not our minds. She felt a surge of warmth in her chest. She used to be afraid that it would be a long time before she could let Eamon close, that she would have to work hard to get rid of her fear. But in the duet, in the face of death and the trials to come, everything seemed to have lost its importance. And it wasn't the power of destructive feelings that prevailed, but constructive ones. Knowing that she was about to face something dark, terrible, and painful, she had cast aside everything that weighed on her and plunged into the depths of her desires. She had been too anxious on the shore, and besides her love for Eamon, there had been many other things surging through her. Disappointment after getting in touch with Ismen's Ka, waiting for Seimon and Remau to appear, uncertainty. Right. Who is Seimon? We still don't know who that bit is. She hadn't been able to relax and let go, and all her negative feelings had somehow been linked to her fear from the past. And even though her heart had been open, her body had rejected that intimacy. Anubis had said that they would need courage and perseverance in the duat to get over all the bad things that had weighed on them throughout their lives. That was exactly what she had done. Eva was changing, and everything that was happening to her was gradually shaping her into a new person, less cowardly, more honest, more selfless, and more open. She was in the afterlife, Isfed. What could be scarier than that? Would Eva give up the heartwarming, all-encompassing love for Eamon out of fear of someone who had been dead for a long time? Don't count on it. Sheshmu almost always come to a sticky end, but not me. Not me. Despite everything, they had never been so close. The closer Eamon and Eva got, the more she missed him, and she couldn't help wanting him to be with her all the time. Girl, you fell in love. That's what happened. Last night you didn't just fuck. You made love. It was as if Eva was made up entirely on that desire. Her thoughts, aspirations, everything about her was drawn to him. She shook her head almost discontently. That's not why I came here. Actually, I need another door. Are you sure you need the other door? Lost in her thoughts, Eva walked on the corridor, the common rooms, the main hall of Anubis. She thought she was heading toward the garden, but there was no familiar turn in the line of endless doors and columns. Finally, Eva found it, but her joy didn't last long, as she would. Shit. Ended up in some unfamiliar place. Well, shit. Should I stay here or go back? The passage seemed to radiate cold and some strange bad energy, which was so repulsive that Eva involuntarily took a step back. Well, that means we're leaving. No, I'm definitely not going there. You think? Eva thought Orion was somewhere nearby, but she found herself alone. Yo. Even Orion said not with me, bitch. All her anxious thoughts and feelings seemed to intensify 1,000-fold, and Eva realized that she didn't just need to leave that place. She had to run. Run, bitch! Huh? Eva turned around. The thought she had been processing suddenly vanished. Oh my god. He's fed. What was that? Girl, just run! Run, bitch! A silhouette flashed past one of the pillars. Shit. Oh, shit. That was us. That's us. They didn't have to prove me right. I just remember the hairstyle. Finally, someone has found me. I thought everyone had forgotten about me. Oh shit. Oh no. Our test started, didn't it? Oh my god. No. No. Not with me, my good sis. Will you take care of me? Who on earth? Oh, if not you. Where's my mom? Where's my dad? Don't we have parents? Eva recoiled, unable to comprehend what she was seeing. I'm out. Never ever. I'm gonna have nightmares. Her heart was pounding. Run! Run! There was no movement off to the side again. Ah! Did we just see that bitch literally appearing in the middle of the screen? Boo! Are you afraid of me? Ah! Me! It's me, invisible god, it's me! Eva looked into her dead eyes and asked softly, What are you doing here? What are you doing here? This place is for the dead. I'm dead. Are you? Are you dead too? I'm a little confused. We're alive. Could this be that this is like a part of ourselves? Like, so that you understand what I mean. The older we get, the more we change. And if I have been through the darkest moments and I've reached rock bottom, in order for me to survive, in order for me to move on from my past, I kind of have to detach myself from my past self and shape myself into a new, healthier version where I still remember all the hardships, but they don't have that much effect on me anymore. So it's kind of like I kill the worst version of myself, because the worst version of myself is me being at the rock bottom. And the best version of myself, me being all healed up and everything, me being strong again, that's the person that remains alive. Is that a thing? Are they being that metaphorical? Eva's legs gave out, backing away again. She lost her balance and fell. The art of necromancy. She really looks like a corpse. In that case, I can take control of my fear and talk to her. It's alright, you have to fear the living, not dead. The air felt colder again. What are you doing on the ground? Breakdance? Eva jumped on the spot. The child got very close to her. Two huge clouded eyes stared straight at her. They burned bright blue, but they were dull and like the eyes of withered corpses. A small ashen hand reached out. You're so sad. How can I cheer you up? Where did you come from? Where? Don't you remember anything? What the fuck? Oh my god, I just saw one behind a pillar. More children playfully peeked out from behind the pillars, peering at Eva with their burning, lifeless eyes. Oh fuck no. Some were smiling, some were sad, and some were crying, but all three were the embodiment of a single already grown-up Eva. Yeah, parts of herself that she killed. That's what you also do when you become numb. You kill your emotions. Symbolically, of course, not literally. When one of them spoke, thick black liquid gushed from their eyes and mouths. Well, shit. Oh my god. Have you forgotten that you've been here before? You were sad. You don't remember anything. What happened to you? Her voice trembled with choked down tears, but Eva composed herself, trying to push the wave of emotion behind an imaginary solid wall and asked more firmly, What happened to us? One of the girls tilted her head as dogs do when they try to understand their owners. She blinked repeatedly and then responded in her sweet little girl's voice. Nothing happened to us. We were dead from the beginning. Remember your name? Oh my god. Yeah, because of our deal, right? Eva swallowed the lump in her throat. Avitus Marinset. No, silly. Don't you even remember your name? Our name? He who doesn't know his name doesn't know himself. Our name is Nephis. Such a name comes with a price. That's what the Guardian said when he enveloped us in eternal sleep. You're one step closer to the truth about yourself. Isn't that the name that our mother gave us? Like Bringer of the Dead or something? Thick ink black liquid trickled down the children's ashen vein-covered skin. Have you forgotten that you've died before? Look, you're still dead. Eva raised her hands to her face. They were trembling. Ah! Died. She had died there. What? That don't make sense. We couldn't have died. We're still here, like we're alive. What? Ah! Is this because of... or a demigod? I forgot his name. Ash. Is this because of Ash? Because we made a deal with him. So kind of we gave him our soul. As long as he doesn't say it's fine, we're still his bitch, technically. Oh my god, Eva jumped to her feet and screamed, losing control of herself. Oh shit. The light in the hall flickered. The shadows in the corners began to thicken, forming a vicious, impenetrable darkness, which moved across the floor as if alive right toward Eva. 1, 2, he's coming for you. 3, 4, 5, you can run away from him or hide. 6, 7, 8, your father prays for your fate. 9, 10, don't you feel the pain? Run, run, you can't escape your past. I am sick and tired. The children yelled all at once, their screams turning into sobs. Fuck no. Oh, hell no. I live inside you. Set me free. It hurts so much. It hurts. Like, I'm just imagining right now in that scene that, like, the voice turns distorted. So, like... No? A primal guttural howl echoed through the hall, as if it weren't children who were screaming, but a pack of ravenous madness beasts. Well... Eva took off running. Or we killed Agnia. Meanwhile, Agnia's test. Choking with anger, Agnia went into the common room. Lazarus had promised to help, but he had arrived at the outskirts only to meet Gaia and had to set off on his journey at dawn. He had promised that he and Agnia would meet again, but it would be Aristos who would help her escape from the house. It was impossible to buy Agnia back, and neither it was possible to negotiate with Elena, which meant they'd have to resort to more radical measures. Lazarus told her to be ready. Agnia had been waiting for that day and wanted to share her secret with Gaia. If it wasn't for her patron, Agnia would have asked Gaia to come with her. But why did Lazarus come to her? Do they know each other? Maybe she still wants to run away with me. I don't like the idea of leaving her here. I've grown fond of Gaia. I'd be sad to leave her. But even if she refuses, I'll run away without her. I'll know my way out of here, not one way or another. No one will stop me. Elena entered the room, her face as annoyed as ever. They'll get it together. Yeah, make a decoction of mint and bring it to the 5th room. She's hysterical and we've got work to do. Hysterical? Who's she talking about? One of the heteras? Ia sighed indignantly and went to do as she was told. Agnia remembered someone crying half an hour before. The fifth room, mine and Gaia's. Agnia rushed down the hallway to her bedroom. She had a bad feeling. Oh shit. Is she dying? Agnia's fears were confirmed when she saw Gaia's slender back shaking with silent sobs. She was hunched over, a handkerchief clenched between her teeth, sobbing quietly. Walk up to her quietly and put your hand on her shoulder. I don't think she wants to be touched, especially if she's shaking right now. I would just say rush to her. Agnia immediately ran up to her friend to listen to her and comfort her. She put her hands on Gaia's shoulder and asked in astonishment, Gaia? Oh. Gaia turned around. Her fair, smooth face was streaked with tears. He's gone, Agnia. He's gone. Oh shit. Her patron. Who's gone? Diaz, my beloved. Gaia hid her face in her hands and went on crying. Agnia couldn't help but hug her. Burying her face in Gaia's hair, she asked, Your patron? Yes, he's dead. He went on a military campaign with the others a few months ago and he died there. Oh. It hurts so much and I hate him so much. Hate him? Yeah, because you left her. Gaia hastily wiped away her tears and turned to Agnia. Her voice trembled, as did her hands as she took them away from her face. He didn't take me away from here and rarely visited me because he had a wife. But Franz Lazarus came to tell me everything. He said Jesus had asked him to visit me and tell me everything before he died.
Well, so that's why he came here. That that he didn't leave me, but was wounded in battle. That he's been married for a long time, and that you will always love me, and that it's time to use the necklace.
She was no longer wearing the necklace, apparently. She'd taken it off in a fit of anger. Gaia burst into tears again. Despair, pain, and anger were tearing her apart. Agnia kneeled down in front of her to look her in the eye.
I'm very sorry, but Gaia, he's your patron, not your man. They always have wives. I know, but he just said I was his only one.
Such a man. There's no truth in their words. Now that's a little harsh. We're both broken now. Nah, you have to hold on. We're not broken.
Your support shouldn't come from a patron, but from yourself.
Period.
Not Jesus, but Gaia. Gaia Vantika, a free woman. You have your necklace, sell it and run. Be grateful to this man for taking care of you before his death, but don't forget about his lies either. Love is unpredictable, but love for yourself is something you have full power over.
Gaia swallowed back her tears, sniffing a few times. Agnia grabbed her hands and said with uncharacteristic tenderness,
You're so wonderful, gentle, kind, educated. You'll meet someone who will love you and whom you will love. Let's run away together, just me and you, all right? I'll get you out of here, I swear. You care so much about me.
Gaia's smile suddenly curled up in a smile.
I already have such a person who really loves me and whom I love. Why would I need men?
Gaia leaned forward a little. Her face was so close to Agnia's that she stiffened unconsciously.
It's you. You love me. I can see that. What's up with her? What's up with her face? Is this another hysterical outburst?
I feel like she's right now taking her frustrations out on her. Kind of. She's using her as her emotional punching bag, sort of.
But her words, great Jesus, I do like her. The way others talk about it when you want to be closer and kiss. I can't fool myself anymore. This isn't friendship. You're thinking about that right now, aren't you? You want to run away together. You care about me just like I care about you.
As Agnia stared into Gaia's grey-green eyes, a wave of emotion surged forth in place of words. Her heart answered Gaia's question with every beat. Yes, yes, yes.
I really want to.
Whether it was a fit of hysterics or Gaia's real feelings, it left no trace of the grief that had been choking her. Deep inside, Agnia felt that something was off about Gaia's words, but the realization she had just come to and Gaia's smile, which had time and again rekindled her will to live, swept away all doubts. So Agnia took the first step. She leaned in and gave Gaia an impulsive kiss. Gaia froze in surprise when she felt Agnia's lips. She didn't know how to react, clearly not expecting that. Gaia awkwardly touched Agnia's arm, barely moving her lips in response, and pulled away.
So that's your answer, huh? I guess.
Thanks to Agnia's resolve during the test, she found the courage to express her feelings. Oh, okay. Gaia smoothed her hair a little nervously. There was a smile on her face, but there was something airy and off about it.
Speaking of this gift, it's under my bed. Take it, it's yours now. What? Why? It means a lot to you. That's right. And you're the only one who understands how much it means to me. You wanted to run away, didn't you? It will help you a lot. You? How about us? We're going to run away together, aren't we? Of course. Us.
Nah. Gaia gave Agnia her necklace because she showed her sympathy.
What's with her?
Yeah, I feel like she's gonna tell on us.
But I don't want to use it anyway. I don't want to use anything that belonged to Jesus.
Gaia rested her head on her knees. Agnia had no choice but to comfort her and wait for the day when Erastus would come. He would help. He would definitely help. Let's hope. Meanwhile, in the palace of Anubis, Eva's entire body was drenched in sweat as she rushed along unfamiliar corridors. She didn't look where she was running or what was around her. Her only wish was for the voices in her head to fall silent.
It hurts. It hurts. It hurts.
It seemed to Eva that she was being followed by the sound of small feet chasing her from the very hall. Fuck no. She kept running until she bumped into someone's chest. Amen, Livius. Oh. Sorry. Oh, Livius. Livius caught her, preventing her from running further or falling. Barely able to keep his balance, he looked fearfully at Eva. Seeing the wild look in Eva's eyes and feeling her heart pounding, Livius put his arm around her shoulders. What happened? What were you running from? She pointed somewhere into the empty corridor. I'm pretty sure this was just for us. There? He turned around, but there was no one in the archway. Yeah, we were the only ones who saw that. She could have seen anything to do it, or simply thought she had seen it, so Livius just patted her back. Let's go sit down. Just breathe, all right? Once he had set Eva on soft pillows, he gave her some time to catch her breath. Eva recovered herself. Having recovered herself, Eva was afraid Livius would think she had gone insane. Truth be told, I would be silent. She didn't know how to describe what she had seen. She'd been attacked by herself? The real Olivas? How could she repeat what they had said without making Livius think she had gone completely insane? On the other hand, it no longer mattered whether she was insane or not, and neither did what Livius would think. Eva knew exactly what she had seen. She was never going to forget it. Watching Eva's eyes darting around the room, Livius couldn't stand it any longer and spoke first. We agreed to meet, and I found this place while wandering around the palace. And you seem to have found yourself an adventure. Adventure? It was more than a nightmare. He took Eva's indignantly arched eyebrow as a good sign. If her face no longer looked confused and her eyes didn't glisten with tears, it meant they could move on. Livius. All right, but then what was it? Livius leaned over to look her in the eye. He needed eye contact to pick up on her mood and to understand how she was feeling. I love Livius. He is so understanding. Like, he can literally look into your eyes and he can literally read your soul. That's dangerous. Was someone chasing you? Eva shook her head, her lips pressed into a narrow line. Maybe she could confide in him? Confide in your bitch? What made her think Livius wouldn't believe her or think she was insane? They had been through so much and he always supported her. Was there any point in staying silent if she could talk to him and get advice from a wise person? Eva confided in him and told him everything. Everything, please. She put her hands on her knees, clutching the fabric of her clothes anxiously. Olivia stared at her, sitting nearby, and waited patiently until she was ready to share. He had seen Eva in that state more than once. After all, so much had happened between them over those weeks together. Being a clever person, Livius could easily tell by the look in Eva's eyes and manner of speaking how she was feeling and whether it was worth bothering her. When she spoke, he listened. I came across this place. Her story flowed like a river. Eva tried to talk dispassionately about everything, about the children, about her face on all three of them, about what the girls had said, and how they had insisted that she was already dead. Do you understand? My arms were blue, my legs were blue, and I was cold and lifeless. Nothing to do with this playing with you. It uses everything you're afraid of and puts pressure on you to weaken you, so that you won't be able to pass the test. It sounds awful, but it's also part of the test, to resist, to fight back. But I'm not afraid of death. Akir probably knows about it. And the halls that do it, they obey him, don't they? Why send something like that to me? I don't know. Maybe not everything obeys him, and he's just the embodiment of this place. I'm the wrong person to ask. I'm Macedonian. I'm not very familiar with the nuisance of your culture. Hilarious. She smiled. Thank God. Yours or mine? I love Livius. Livius patted her on the shoulder. She relaxed, and so did he. You're alive. I'm alive. Livius! I'm sorry. It's so cute. I love them. I'm sure Agni also showed everyone who the best mercenary from Attica is. Everything is fine, right? Yes, but now I'm afraid of children. They even told me my real name. Your real name? Yes, only my parents, Eastman, and I know it. No monsters could call me by my birth name. That's why I was so scared. I won't ask. I know I'm not supposed to. Tell him. Maybe I'll tell you later. But that means it really was me, the little me, who knew my name. Alright, let's see how things unfold. Livius knows everything now. Your honesty has brought you closer, period. That's my bitch. We need to tell our bitch everything. Olivia shrugs her shoulders. Why didn't you run to the Epistates? Huh? You don't seem to be hiding it anymore. It would have protected you from any monsters of the duet. What are you getting at, huh? Nothing. I was just wondering. You're no longer a hunter and a Shishmu. It's just Eamon and just Eva. Yet? He's a shipper, y'all! If I remember back in the day when we were creating sauce between Livius and Eamon. Must be a relief to get rid of all expectations and limitations, right? There are still a lot of difficult things ahead, but I'm glad that we no longer have to keep our distance from each other. Livius didn't say anything and just nodded. He felt better knowing that someone would take care of her, especially a man like Eamon. I love it. It was only then that Eva noticed that there was a small box in front of him. Excuse me? What is this? Isn't this a Senate set? Where did you get it? I found it here, but I don't know the rules. I was just looking at it. Can you imagine? The board game of the guardian of the dead himself. Eva pointed to the set. This is a game for the gods. Only later did humans learn to play it. The gods taught one 5 days from the god Khan by defeating him 5 times. During those days, the goddess Nut was able to give birth to Osiris and Isis, Nephthys and Set. So a red-haired companion is here with us because of this game? That's right. It was born thanks to cunning. Maybe that explains it. What's this game about? The same thing that our whole culture is about, the journey of the soul in the afterlife. Teach me, and then I'll win something for you too. But we won't give birth to anyone yet. Huh? I'm probably better at it than you. If for no other reason than because I've had more practice. Come on, explain the rules. Or are you afraid of losing? Bitch, please. Eva bent over the board and began to explain. In the middle of the game, Olivius was slowly starting to win. Eva caught movement out of the corner of her eye. She felt sick at the thought that the children had crawled all the way to her, but it turned out to be someone much better. Eamon? Huh? 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 They both turned to the archway of the hall. Why the suspense? Bitch, don't tell me that you're jealous again. I'm gonna fucking smack you. We just fucked. If you dare. The episode strode past and didn't even notice Eva and Livius. Oh, this man is literally lost in thought. Okay. He's walking around inspecting the palace. Alright. Got him. I can see your eyes light up. Oh, Livius, I fucking hate you. No, but he's a shipper. I love him. I'll talk to him and come back, alright? No, take your time, understand. If you came back, I'd finish the game and beat you on my first trial. Spare you the embarrassment. Right. Livius is the keeper. Then we'll discuss everything later? Yes. I love Livius. Livius leaned back and closed his eyes. Eva ran out into the corridor after Eamon. We're such a simp. For some reason, Eamon didn't notice either Eva or Livius, but strode purposefully forward. Eamon, wait. Hello? Over here. She called out to him, and only then did the episodes freeze and turn around. It was strange that he hadn't even heard her footsteps, apparently he'd even thought. Evatus, you're here. Even their eyes met, Eva felt as if time had stopped, and the whole world froze, gradually dissolving because he was there. Once again, everything that happened between them came back to mind. Eva smiled softly, not knowing how to start a conversation. Where are you going, looking so serious? Seeing that smile, the Supreme Epistates turned into a completely different person. Her beloved Eamon. No one had ever seen such a soft, loving expression on his face except for her. Only she didn't know about it, and she didn't realize what kind of power she had over Eamon. I felt like taking a walk, and while I was walking, I started thinking about all kinds of things.
What's my Nephra doing here?
You don't want to know. Yes, he does. His affectionate tone made her feel so good. It helped her relax, and she threw herself into his arms. Again, she was in his arms. Again, wrapped in his warmth, in his scent.
You're purring.
Purring? We turned into a cat, bitch. Not, y'all, she's not a simp. She's a weak-ass pussy. She's a wimp. I remember how good it was to lie together. Why do we need to separate rooms if we can sleep like this always?
If I had known this was your will, I would have told the guardian about it when you assigned the rooms.
The episode slightly squeezed her waist, grinning, and remembered doing the same some time before, but pressing to Eva from behind. Wow! Exactly! Eamon even felt her scent on him for some time after their intimacy, and he really didn't want to wash it off, sir. The sweet peach suited her so well, becoming strongly associated with her that it had become his favorite fruit. Just the thought that it had been their first closeness, but certainly not their last, made Eamon love life. Wow! There was more meaning to it now, or maybe it had just taken on a meaning. Before, his reasons to live had been dark, destructive. Eamon had been driven and urged forward by those forces. There had been a lot of blood and death, a huge thirst for revenge and poisonous hatred for his enemies, and then suddenly a ray of light pierced through the cold, lifeless darkness that had enveloped the epistates. It was so bright, warm, and small that he wanted to keep it safe at all costs. Hide it in his hands, hold it tightly to his heart, and guard it like his treasure. Eamon had been so afraid of hurting Eva when she had asked him not to stop, both physically because he was aware of his size and mentally because she had a difficult childhood. I remember the sex scene when they tried to make us Eamon fans know that his dick is huge, like too huge for us. Only someone with truly unshakable willpower could stay in control and do everything carefully while being torn apart by a primal passion. At least Eamon hoped he had been gentle enough. He had never been with an inexperienced woman before, so he wasn't entirely sure how to handle it. Sir, just ask her. Especially when she wasn't just any woman, but the one he infinitely loved. Wow. So sensitive, loving in return, placing her trust in him completely. The thought even crossed his mind to ask if she had liked it, if it hadn't been too painful, but Eva had already fallen asleep. She quickly fell asleep every time she rested her hand on Eamon's chest. Eva was undoubtedly undergoing inner changes in the duet related to her childhood and her relationship with her fears. Eamon didn't want to pressure her or prevent her from handling things on her own. She was a mature, independent woman. If her first time was with him was kind of like the first step toward fighting what had been haunting her since childhood, well, that was her wish. Lately, Eva's desires had become as important, if not more so, than his own. Otherwise, why would he be here in the afterlife? He literally just came in the afterlife because of us. Hadn't he come there for the woman he loved? Literally just for us. There was a mischievous glint in Eva's eyes. Eamon allowed himself a joke.
Maybe we don't need the guardian's permission. Who's going to keep an eye on whether everyone stays in their rooms or with each other?
Invisible God, I'm about to jump for joy. We're flirting like lovers. You are lovers, bitch. Eva was grateful for the simplest of things. Anything was better than arguing. Eamon's gaze moved on her face, carefully tracing one feature after another. The episode was thinking about something, and only the faint smile on his lips hinted that it was something good.
There's something wrong. Why did you make that face when I asked you what you were doing here?
Sir, we're traumatized. My apologies. This place is playing with me, scaring me in different ways. I saw something horrible and was scared to death.
What did you see?
Something strange about death.
About death? This is the very essence of the underworld, so it should be expected.
Anyway, where were you going so confidently? That. Nah, he's waiting for his mission, I'm telling you. Like, there is no fucking way that only Ania has to go through all of this BS.
Right, I have to go somewhere. I'll be right back.
He lying. Eamon pulled away from her and wandered off somewhere, seemingly aimlessly, but at the same time clearly knowing the way. No, y'all, I'm telling you, he is done with his mind. I feel like maybe something happened and we didn't know, or maybe he feels that he can't talk to us about it just yet because he can't wrap his head around it himself. He didn't say goodbye and didn't kiss her. Eva frowned. It seemed very strange to her, but she just stared after him in silence, feeling a little anxious. Huh. Eamon has been thinking about you all this time. Huh? How? Arthur, how did you come to that conclusion? This bitch literally wandering off by himself in his lonesome. He could have had us. We could have walked with him. Eva stood there for a moment longer and then turned around and walked on. Can we at least get Livius? Oh. That woman cannot catch a break. Agnia's test. The day came when Erastus was supposed to come for Agnia. She was on the edge, constantly reminding Gaia to be ready. Gaia, on the other hand, didn't seem the least bit nervous. She didn't want to leave. She was smiling, laughing, giving away her free piece of jewelry. It was as if she was saying goodbye to the house and the other women. Of course, Agnia got the most valuable one. The first thing she did was prepare it for her escape. Oh, wow. The necklace was precious to Gaia in every sense. It wasn't just about the gold. Gaia didn't mention the kiss again. She would hug Agnia but avoided any intimacy that went beyond the boundaries of friendship. In the late afternoon, Gaia stayed in the bedroom and didn't show up in the common room. Agnia remained inside in case Erastus came to the house. But everything was quiet, oh no, until... Oh god, did Gaia tell on her? Huh? All the Hettas raised their heads in surprise. Alina, who was welcoming a wealthy man, jumped. What's the matter? Is it always so noisy around here? Oh no, of course not. I'm going to sort it out. Ia will take you to a private room and bring you the Hetta you asked for. Kyrios Esubius, you know how much we respect you, how... Oh, Delena, just make sure it's quiet here and give me her. Elena nodded vigorously. She waved to Ia to take Eusebius to another room and went to deal with the noise. The Hetera crowded outside the fifth room, covering their mouths either with shock or pain. Agnia's heart sank as she headed there too. Oh god. What's going on here? Have you seen who's here? What are you yelling about? The Madam gently pushed the Hetera aside to enter the bedroom. Agnia followed her. Oh no. When Elena saw what had happened, she clasped her hand over her mouth like the others. She had hung herself. It was so obvious. She couldn't live anymore after what happened. To that man. Like, she said that she had developed a connection with him, so when he died, she wasn't the same anymore. And maybe she was even sexually harassed by one of the men that came to visit her, who knows? But the point is and remains that she couldn't deal with the pain. She didn't think she had anything left. And the love that Agnia had for her wasn't reciprocated, I would have to say. Maybe she was even trying to cut off all loose ends in order for no one to blame themselves when she did what she did. Wow. Now that's painful though. She was such a beautiful soul. She killed herself. Yeah, that's what happens here. Gaia's body swayed from the gusts of wind. Gaia. But how come no one heard that woman literally strangling? Like gasping for air? The Hetera obediently choked under tears so that their crying wouldn't disturb the respectable Kyrios Esubius. You can all fuck yourself, like the fuck. Now I'm supposed to be all quiet and mushy because, oh no, what if someone hears me? I hate when we have to like hide our emotion and pretend that we're anything but human. Agnia couldn't believe what had happened. That morning she had been so happy, as if she had completely forgotten about the death of her patron. Exactly, she never forgot. She was pretending that she did, so that no one would ask questions when she was alone. She had given away her belongings, imagined how she and Agnia would go to a place where no one could find them. She even played her, y'all, so that Agnia wouldn't suspect anything. Damn it, why did she do that? What do we do with the body? Take it down. We need to take it down. Alina turned sharply to Agnia, finally tearing her gaze away from the corpse hanging from a noose. Such incidents happen in the house sometimes, but if a hetera decided to kill herself, she usually went somewhere far away, not to her room, or ran away and died afterward. But not there. Not then. Not during the visit of such an important man. Ugh. Yeah, quickly go to Kiras. Go, he's waiting for you. I'm not going there. Me? What does he want? Please, Elena, she don't care. He came here for you. Of course he came here for her. Like, I'm sorry. I mean, again, she's fine as fuck, Agnia. But in my eyes, it fucks me up even more, like, to know that she don't want to do any of this. And her hand keeps on being forced. She can't do anything but just to comply. It fucks me up so much. He's had his eye on you for a while. Go see him right away. I won't go. I'll stay with her. Babe, I don't think that you have a right to say shit. I won't go. I'll stay with her. For Izzy's sake, don't cross me, Agnia. Do as you're told. Let him be busy with you while we deal with this one. Wow. Let him be busy with you. Wow. You take care of him. It will be better. I'm supposed to entertain him. No, truth be told, at this point, you take care of him. I could give two more damns about if he wants me. He won't get me. You're a lot more experienced. You can easily capture the attention of this Vesuvius. And I'll take care of Gaia. I'm sick and tired, y'all, though. I'm giving the orders here, understood? Well, I'm not entertaining him. Elena turned to the body, snorted angrily, and instructed someone. Take her down carefully. But the Ateras didn't move. They were afraid to go near the hanged woman. Why are you trembling? Oh, I don't know, 'cause she did. And you, go to the room right now or I'll drag you there. Her words pierced Agnia like an arrow. She remembered her father's threats and screams the day before she had been sold to that house. The same feelings swept through her, fear, despair, powerlessness, and helplessness, being forced to obey someone else's will. She didn't like that similarity. Yeah, it's like she can't escape her fate, always being above, always being submitted to someone else, always having someone else above her. Agnia took a slow step toward Elena, without taking her eyes off the madam. She narrowed her eyes and said through gritted teeth, I'm not your dog to drag me. Touch me and I'll bite your hand off, got it? Agnia's threat was quiet but intense, and there was something sinister and evil in her eyes. Elena didn't doubt Agnia's words for a second. Yeah, that's how you do things. You shut the fuck up. Like, even if I was sold, but no, honestly, I can't understand with people just selling someone. If I don't want to be sold, you can't just sell me like I'm not your property. You don't own me. I'm my own person. I own myself. If I want to be sold, in air quotes, like marriage or something, then that's my own choice. Then I have to deal with the consequences, aka, then it's fine. If I go there, like my husband pays for my stuff, it's kind of like selling. If we look at the money being spent on the wedding gown, the wedding, then afterwards with children, etc. But not like this. Who are you to tell me that I have to sell my body? I was not fine with being dragged here in the first place, and I've said it on multiple occasions. Now this bitch came to visit me, fine. He can watch me, but he can't touch me. Like, this is like the limit to sexual harassment. I'm being forced to entertain someone. Not with me, my good sis. They did exchange glances. No one had ever dared to behave like that with Elena, and the challenge made it clear to the others, even that was possible if you weren't afraid. But the madam knew perfectly well, you either lived in fear or you instilled it in others, so she replied boldly, "You're going to do as I say. Otherwise I'll dump her body in a ditch. If you obey, I'll treat her well, in a humane way. Got it?" Thanks to your choices, Agnia is getting stronger and her temper allows her to stand up to Alina. Love this though. Truth be told, you actually think that you can make me feel like shit? Is this woman for real? I would be like, fine by me. Treat her like shit, but I'm still not doing your bidding. Like she did. What else is she gonna feel? Nothing. And I understand that she wouldn't want to have her, be treated badly because she still has love for her. But that would be my reaction. Well, Agnia realized she had no choice. You always have the choice. Her protests wouldn't help Gaia, who had killed herself and had probably been planning that for a long time ever since the news of Tisa's death. I'm sorry, is she dumb? You can't say no, you just don't want to say no. Agnia lowered her head, utterly defeated, and cast one last glance at Gaia. Why? Oh, why? Oh, I feel so bad for her. She went into the room. I wouldn't have gone into the room. She mad. She's stupid right here. You can't get me to do shit. Soft, light, scarlet fabrics cushions to relax on. She was back in the private room. Most often it was used for conversations and private meetings, and only occasionally for something more. We'll get to know each other here. Am I going to talk to him? Sing to him? Great gods, please. What does Elena want me to distract him? And how am I supposed to act when Gaia's death won't leave me mind? Seeing Agnia in the doorway, the man got up from his seat. Before that, his face had expressed utter boredom and mild bewilderment due to the commotion outside. But with Agnia's arrival, it was transformed. There you are. Hello. Ugh.
Curious. Welcome. Elena said you wanted to see me.
Yes, I long to see you. Come here, sit down. A girl. You were such a pussy and decided to go into the room. Now you do his commands. This is what happens. That's when you have no fucking choice. I would have left, y'all. I would have left a long time ago. What is my daddy gonna do? He never gave a damn about me. Now all of a sudden he's supposed to care. Agnia didn't want to do it, but she casually approached Eusebius. He patted the spot beside him and she slowly sat down next to him. Eusebius didn't take his eyes off her, staring at her long hair. You're so beautiful and you've got lovely hair. Oh!
Thank you, Eusebius.
Curious, that's the only way you're going to call me.
As you wish.
As a hint, you were different before.
Before?
You don't remember me, do you? Agnia wanted to move away. Eusebius was sitting too close to her, staring almost unblinkingly, as if taken by some kind of greedy obsession.
I'm afraid not, Curious.
I live not far from your father. I saw you walking with your slave in the morning, and I would look at you. But you didn't even glance at me.
My father? Do you know my father and where I lived?
Agnia squeezed the fabric of bedspread with her fingers. Her heart was pounding faster and faster, and she was getting scared. She felt like prey in front of a predator. He was snapping his teeth in front of her face, toying with her, trying to squeeze everything sweet from her before. I know, and I've seen you many times. I liked you so much. Oh! Yo! I'm about to barf! Let's imagine she's 17, y'all. He's 50. He must definitely be above 50. Eating her. Oh! I'm actually gonna barf. And then you disappeared. I waited a week, 2 weeks. I remembered your beautiful hair. Your face is sculpted by the hand of a skilled craftsman. I couldn't stand it and asked your father. He waved it off, said you'd gone to your relatives, and then I saw you here, my favorite place. Eusebius moved closer. His hand rested brazily on Agnia's knee. Oh! Agnia batted it away nervously.
I'm not a prostitute. Men come to us to talk, not to fuck.
Woohoo! Ah, lovely little fangs till the kitten bites. Oh! Elena had thrown Ignia into the cage of the beast just to distract him from the girl who had killed herself in the next bedroom. While the heteras were taking the body out of the noose, Ignia had to satisfy the hunger of the man obsessed with her. Eusebius didn't want to wait, and his hands squeezed confidently between her knees pressed together. Ignia shuddered, unable to stand it, and tried to pull away.
No, please don't. No, I feel so bad for her.
Are you going to resist? I wouldn't have even went into the room. Do you know what Elena will do to you? I would have left. She has no fucking right on me.
She'll punish me severely, like she punished Gaia once, or even worse. She fawned over him, seeking his favor. If I anger him, I might end up in the news myself.
Didn't she say that someone was supposed to get her out?
But I don't want to obey either.
Are you silent because you know I get everything I want here? Oh, come on, noble beauty. I can make you my hetera, provide for you, cherish you. Eubius put his hand on Ignia's breast, squeezing it without asking. She shuddered violently and suddenly grabbed the cup next to her. She smashed it against the table, arming herself with a shard.
Get away from me!
Her hands were shaking, clutching the shard so tightly that blood trickled down her palm. Eusebius froze and then moved away a little. He looked at her angrily from under his brow. He clearly wasn't going to give up. Of course not. Look at him. Kiros, treat me with respect. You obstinate slut. See? Slut! He views her as a slut because she's here.
Step back or I'll stab you in the throat, Kyrios.
Eusebius rushed to her. This man, y'all, he really does not learn his lesson. But hey, that's when the assassin was born. Catching hold of her wrist and grabbed Ignia by the hair with his other hand. I ask again, what are you going to do to me? Ignia twisted free through the pain and kicked him hard between the legs. He released her wrist, but he was still clutching her hair. Then Ignia put the shard to her neck. Don't you dare. If you don't let go of me, I am! A few sharp, rough movements. What have you done, you fool, you whore, cheap whore? He was holding Ignia's thick locks, which she had just cut off, period! And it's a fact he called her a cheap whore as well. This conniving little fucker. Why didn't she just stab him? Taking advantage of the momentary freedom, Ignia took off and rushed to the door. She wasn't so much trying to escape as she was trying to drive Eusebius away from her so that he would choke on that damn hair. Let him eat it for all she cared. Let Elena, that house, Kyrios, Eusebius, and everything that happened there go to Hades. Where was Erastus? Where was Lazarus? Run, she had to run. She wouldn't get punished if she ran away, right then. There was always mercenaries standing by the door, whom Elena paid, but Ignia could think of anything to avoid the horrible fate that awaited her. She was so close to the door. Oh god, oh fuck. So she was sexually assaulted. Y'all, I'm gonna read the scene, but I'm gonna put the warning in here. If you feel bad, please skip the video. Like, skip the part of this. Read it. But Eusebius' fingers closed around her ankle and yanked her back. Ignia fell to the floor, hitting her knees and scratching her palms. No, I feel so bad. My heart is breaking for her. Yes, you're going to scream, yes. If I would have been there, y'all. God, you at last. This man is fucking disgusting. So she literally lost her beautiful hair for nothing. Eusebius grabbed her wrist and squeezed them above her head. With his free hand, he roughly pulled up her dress, which, as he had noted more than once, emphasized her curves. Seeing that Ignia wasn't wearing underwear, he chuckled contentedly. You're naked. Were you waiting for me? Y'all, I feel so bad. Like, no one should have to go through something like this.
Please don't. Not like this, not against my will.
You would never give him your consent either way, my good sis. But hey, desperate times call for desperate measures. It's too late. Do you remember how you walked past me without even noticing me? He whispered in her ear, muttered all sorts of nonsense, and fumbled with his clothes to expose his body where he needed to. To Ignea's horror, she felt how much Inivis wanted her and how angry he was with her for something that wasn't her fault. She was struck by the realization of the hopelessness of her position. She knew for sure what would happen next, so she just wept silently. Come, Kyrios, I'm your master. You will be my hetera. Yeah, right. So that you can sexually abuse me to your heart's content. I want to die. I want to follow Gaia. Asuvia spread her legs with a sharp movement, and a few moments later an awful, disgusting pain ripped through her. I can't. Agnea bit her lip until it bled, sobbing in fear and pain. She was dead. Her soul was broken like a fragile vase. Truth be told, I understand why someone wouldn't allow themselves to be touched after this, and why they always feel the need to be strong. Because it was the fact that I wasn't capable to defend myself, or I wasn't strong enough, that something awful like this had to happen to me. So, after a traumatic experience like this, I would vow to myself to never ever be vulnerable again. It could never be put back together, and Agnea would never be the same again. And she wasn't. Meanwhile, in the world of the living, oh, my bestie, wiping the sweat off his face, Ramesses looked down at the body. What a brute. Sick and tired, he said, "Bye, bitch." Leaving his companions alone for a short while, the necromancer had set out an hour earlier in search of the attacker's body, the one Agnea had killed with her delicate, lovely hand, to keep the stench away. They had hidden him in the farthest part of the palace of the dazzling Aten. I'm sick and tired. And Ramesses, who wasn't a fan of physical exercise, had to work hard to drag the corpse all the way there. Sir. I would have left her to rot. Like, what am I gonna do with that man? He dead now. His ka is gone. The dead man felt somehow heavier than the living, so Ramesses had to stop and rest several times. Remember to give us the antidote. When he was done, Ramesses pursed his lips and nodded. You're going to tell me everything. After all, I'm better at talking with the dead than with the living. Where was Rosamon? What was the point of this hunt for Livius? How had he tracked them down, and what was going on? Ramesses was determined to find out everything. For a moment he turned to the bodies in the water to make sure that everything was all right out of habit. He noticed ripples on the water, and it wasn't from the breeze. Thinking that the dead attacker could wait, Ramesses approached the lake. The sudden sound of water almost scared Ramesses to death. Confused, he turned his head to find the source. Agnea's body shuddered a few times. Is it? He had no idea what she was going through. Yeah. That's when you are mentally struggling and you're reacting in the real world. She literally had to relive her being sexually assaulted, y'all. Agnea's test. Her whole body ached. Agnea was lying on the floor, feeling dirty and broken, wishing she could die, forget it and not feel everything that now formed a lump in her chest. Eusebius was kneeling over her, lazily running his hand over his crotch. He chuckled. Disgusting. Even without your hair, you're beautiful. Maybe we can do it again? Again. His scent again, his drool and sweat drops on his chest, his ragged, foul breath. Agnea closed her eyes. She was one step away from begging Eusebius for death. She opened them, feeling him hover over her. Huh? Everything around lit up with a bright green flame. The shadows gathered in the corners in dense clumps, intensifying Agnea's every emotion. And Eusebius, who was looming over her, looked like an ugly animal. Are you afraid? You don't like this, huh? Her test. He jerked his head in a strange way, and when his gaze returned to Agnea, a completely different person was looking at her. Paramon. Don't you like that I sold you? Do you think I loved you? I just owned you. You were livestock, not my daughter. Father. This is some emotional torment that they're doing in these tests. He twitched again, growled, and jerked close to Agnea. I wanted you so much. I've been watching you for so long, dreaming of you being my wife, bearing my children. Everyone just wanted to use her, and that conniving little fucker managed to get it. Wow. Do you love me? Do you love me, Gnea? Gods. It wasn't Vesuvius, but some terrible creature that growled, wheezed, trembled, and took on the forms of all the people Gnea had ever hated. Do you like being under the control of men, dear? Then you'll be under my control. We're delicate, beautiful creatures. We have to please and entertain them in order to live. That's life. What else can we do? Gnea wanted to crawl away, but the creature grabbed her roughly by the neck and pinned her to the floor. She couldn't get enough air, and the monster began to speak in several voices, undergoing terrible metamorphoses. Oh my god! Not fear! That's something! Gnea, you belong to us. You're ours. 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 You'll never forget us. Ours. Or sources. Period. Kill your fear, bitch. Conquer it. Everything in her body froze in horror, but her heart was still burning and pounding, trying to break free. Gnea had to deal with it. She had to kill it. She had to kill them all. Her eyes almost rolled back from how tightly the creature was squeezing her neck. Blindly, she felt a shard, and grabbing it more confidently, without thinking, she plunged it into the creature's stomach. It roared and twitched in pain, and Gnea screamed and stabbed it again, getting a taste for it. She pulled out the shard and drove it in again and again. Yeah, of course, because now you actually let out your frustration, so you would be going back in again. Her mouth and face were sprayed with warm blood, and its scent seemed sweeter than any nectar. She sobbed and delivered blow after blow, as if the tears and blood were feeding her and giving her strength. Die! Die, all of you! The black-green clumps began to dissolve, and the iron grip on Gnea's throat began to weaken. Gnea has overcome her fear and found the strength to kill it. In the end, everything calmed down, and Gnea, breathing heavily from exhaustion of overwhelming emotions, was left alone in the room with Vesuvius, gurgling and wheezing in agony. She killed him, yeah. I killed him. Yes! I knew it! I felt that was gonna happen, because there must have been a reason. That must have been her first kill. She crawled away from the body in fright, watching him die. I mean, she killed him after he sexually harassed her. Shit. Die at her hand. Gnea had committed her first murder, yeah. What did it taste like? How did she feel? Gnea steadied her breath and sank to the floor. She closed her eyes to calm down and get a hold of herself, and then she smiled. Yeah, you were gone for good. Oh my god. Y'all, she is so gorgeous, though. She is so gorgeous, and my heart pains for her. Delicious. That mirror was delicious. With one sharp blow, Gnea had severed all her dependencies, all her fears, and stopped the man who had treated her as no more than property. She hated that life and everyone around her. Yeah, that's when she turned into that. Even Gaia disgusted her because of her weakness and because she had abandoned Gnea. Yeah, now she will never ever condemn any weakness. Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense why she turned in the way she is. That hatred had finally found an outlet, fierce, bloody, and immensely beautiful, along with the pain throbbing in the brand on her neck, on her leg. From that point on, everything was going to be different. Gnea was no longer a little girl dependent on her father, on Alina, on men. She could defend herself, she could kill, she would even enjoy it. She heard noises and shouting coming from behind the door. Gnea jumped to her feet, barely able to stand, and recoiled as the door swung open. Gnea? Erastus, you're too late. Erastus saw her face covered in blood as well as the floor covered in crimson splatters and the body. You did it. And I enjoyed it. Yes. I did. Her answer was simple. She didn't want to share the details. Everything hurt too much. Erastus didn't ask any questions. That's what I thought. Erastus nodded curtly. I got here too late. I'm sorry.
I had trouble getting inside. I found out from the Hetera that girl hanged herself. That's why they wouldn't let me in.
Agnia swallowed.
Gaia. Lazarus came to see her.
This place is done for. I brought the city patrol and told them about the girl. The mercenaries didn't open. There was a fight. Hurry up. They only know about one body, though there are about to be more. Erastus slid the bag off his shoulder and pulled out a cloak, throwing it to Agnia. I'll get yourself clean and put this on. Have you packed your things? If not, there is no time for that now.
I have.
Erastus wasn't particularly affectionate or gentle with her, but it wasn't to be expected from a mercenary. But Agnia was even grateful for that. She didn't need pity. She was on her own now. She had to be. She did as he said and put on her cloak.
I'm ready.
Then we run. Erastus took her hand and dragged her out somewhat unceremoniously. In my eyes, it's painful, though, that they think that they can't allow themselves to be vulnerable. Oh, wow. Elena screams, fleeing Hetera, fighting men. That place really was done for. Erastus was attacked by Elena's mercenaries several times, but they were no match for him. Eusebius had said that everything there belonged to him, while that house of Hetera had died along with him. Erastus kept his word. He not only helped Agnia escape, but also burned all the bridges behind her. He didn't even say anything about the murder.
I'm free. I'll be free.
Agnia was intoxicated by the feeling of her power. She was supposed to be suffering because of Gaia's death, and somewhere deep inside she really was suffering. She may have been driven to commit that murder partially because of Gaia. Eusebius, who had been stabbed no death, was also supposed to inspire Agnia with a sense of fear and even horror, and maybe make her feel regret. But she didn't feel any of that. She just ran away. Her heart had never felt so light. What do you expect from her? She has been literally traumatized her entire time when she was there. There was nothing left. When Erastus had taken Agnia far enough from the house and wiped himself clean of blood, they stopped somewhere in the narrow streets of the city. The fresh night air filled her lungs, and her heavy hair no longer got in the way. But everything else hurt, her arms, neck, legs, and everything between them. Agnia was going to be licking her wounds for a long time, but the relief that it was all ever drowned out any pain. Erastus turned to her and, giving her a meaningful look, chuckled thoughtfully. Did you really kill him with just a shot?
I would do it again if I could.
That made him smile.
You're good.
Erastus nodded her hand.
It was nice to be a hand, but killed him anyway. You're reckless.
He pulled one of his copies from his belt and handed it to her.
Here, take it. I promised Lazarus I'd take care of you while he's away. He will be gone for many months. As you know, I'm a mercenary, and since you're with me, you'll have to carry a proper weapon, deal? Deal.
Agnia was holding the coppice in her hands, a means of protection and murder entrusted to her by a man. It was even ironic how she'd gone from one extreme to the other.
Thank you, Erastus. You have no idea what kind of Pandora box you opened today.
Erastus laughed heartily.
No, I do have an idea. I can see it in your eyes, but this box had to be opened.
Some part of Agnia died that night. She would have liked to forget everything that happened, but that part was replaced by another one, and it was only thanks to the horrors and suffering endured in the house of Hetera that Agnia managed to find it. Yeah. The green light in the corridor of the duat went out. The test was over. Finally! Anubis will let you know the result of the test later. Oh my god, finally, at least. Eva's desire to learn what lay beyond the palace while remaining within it led her to the very top floor. There was a terrace there. She knew that there was only darkness around, but she wanted to see it with her own eyes. However, Eva stumbled upon the broad back of Anubis, who was staring into the distance just like her. Without turning, he said,
I didn't call you, but you felt I needed you and came to me.
Anubis turned to Eva, his face expressionless. She noticed that Achaea was lying at his feet. But before she could speak, they were interrupted by heavy footsteps. Set entered the room, Set finally also showing his bitch ass.
Well, you two are here together. Have you made a habit of it?
Me. Achaea, resting the guardian's feet, flicked his tail. Eva thought that Anubis and Set would argue about something or fight, but as the Guardian had said, the gods only bickered out of boredom. Apparently they weren't bored and they calmly sat opposite each other. Orion ran onto the terrace. He had lost Eva when she had entered that ill-fated corridor. Orion! The dog rubbed his head against Eva, asking for affection, and then settled down next to the lion. I'm sick and tired. Look at our baby. Seb clapped his hands, looking first at Anubis and then at Nia. And then at Eva. Isn't it fortunate that we're all here? I think it's time for her to learn something or things will get tricky from here on. Eva has advantages she doesn't use at all. Seth, didn't I tell you to stop interfering in my decisions? My order reigns here. Sure, but there is no order without chaos, right? What's going on? What are they talking about? Did Seth make it so that the three of us ended here together? Oh my god! A bright purple light lit up the corridor of the duat. A tall man was moving straight toward it in a trance-like state. He closed his eyes as he approached the entrance to the test. And took a step there. Amen, right? Period. Amen. Amen is the next one. Warm sun flooded the garden. The boy leaning over the papyri heard his mother's voice. Would you like some water with lemon, sweetie? The boy raised his head and smiled. Oh. Of course. You always taste so good. That was some fucked up bullshit. But I'm hopeful that we will get some more intel. I think it was nice that they added the backstory to why Agnia is the way it is. And in my eyes, knowing everything that happened to her, how it led to her first kill and everything, it just shows how strong she actually is to be capable, like, to stand on her feet. A lot of people would have needed a few months or just a lot of time in order to accept what happened. She didn't even need a few seconds to immediately jump onto the I'm strong road. Why? Because she slowly died with the toxicity that came from her father. And then after she was sold to that house, being forced to entertain all those sexual things, she slowly died every single day more and more, to the point where there was nothing more to give. Like, she accepted that this are the ways things are. And she had this hope that she was going to be capable to sooner or later escape. And she did. So this is when her happiness kicked in. There wasn't any trauma more to deal with. But we will see what next episode will be like. Next episode will be Amen. Oh, God. But I hope you enjoyed this video with me. Tell me in the comments below what you think was best, and I will see you in another video. Bye.